Let me offer pranams to all of you. All these things are made up of parts. If the parts are taken away from that object, the object disappears. This flower is there, it is made of so many parts. Petals are there, sepals are there, stalk is there, and inside there is the dust of there is pollen dust. So many things are there in the flower. And if all these things are taken away, the flower disappears completely. It goes out of existence. Means its existence depends upon its parts. Take any object of this world. What do you see there? Every object is made up of parts. Numbers, for example, there is 12, 13, 14. Every number is divisible. Whether it is 12 or 11 or 10, whatever it be, can be divided by 2, 4. Every number can be divided. Every number, take however big, take any number, however big it may be, can be divided. Isn't it? Suppose the number is 1 and it is followed by zeros, 9. 9 zeros make the one very big number. 1 billion, of course. But if every zero is taken away, 1 remains, zeros are taken away. Now there is no billion. There is no billion. Billion just goes out. Isn't it? Means every object, big or small, is made up of parts. This we have to know. Look around you. Look around you. Here is the tree. What is the tree? It is made of so many parts. Not one part. Hundreds and hundreds of parts are there in the tree banyan. Hundreds of parts. They are made of cells, tissues. So many things are there. Leaves are there. These roots are there. Air roots are there. So many things you see. Not one thing, but a conglomeration, a group of so many things. This is how this world is made of. This world is made of such parts. And if there is something which is made up of parts, you cannot expect it to remain forever. If an object is made up of parts, parts may be separated. Therefore that number cannot remain, that object cannot remain for all the time. Means eternity is not possible. If the object is made up of parts, eternity is not possible. We say things are nitya. No, if the thing is made of parts, then you can't expect it to be akhanda. It has to be khandita, means made of parts, divisible. Khandita means divisible, you can divide it. However small an object is, it is still divisible. In a mathematics, for example, you know very well mathematics. I usually use mathematics because it is understandable. One is there. Go on dividing it. One is divided by 2. One may be divided by 100. It may be divided by many, many numbers, even big numbers. Still, the object is not there, unaffected by the act of division. Take any number, it can be divided. In the same way, take any object, it can be divided. It can be. It may be sun or moon or anything. It can be divided, isn't it? But if the object is not made up of parts, what about it? Suppose there is something which is not made up of parts. Not made of parts. It is not a collection of parts. It is not an assemblage of parts. Then what happens? Flower may be destroyed because it is made of parts. If there is something which is not made of parts, can you destroy it? If it is not made of parts, take any number, it is made of numbers. Therefore you can divide it. Take, for example, triangle. Triangle. It is made of 3 sides. Made of 3 sides. Take away the 3 sides, the triangle disappears. Triangle disappears. This is how every object is made of. Every object is divisible. Every object is destroyable. What is destruction? It is disassemblage. It is separation. If the things are separated, the object simply goes out. Isn't it? Take any object, it goes out. Suppose there is a statue, a beautiful statue of a man. What happens? The statue is made of limbs, parts. If you take away the limbs, the statue itself disappears. You need not touch the statue, but the parts that is made of, if taken away, the statue simply disappears. This is the nature of the world here. Every object is made of parts in this world. There is not a single object which is not made of parts. Within the body, within the mind also is made of feelings. It is made of thoughts. It is made of desires and dreams. If you take away all those things, then mind simply becomes dissolved. It ceases to exist. This is the nature of the world. Therefore, we can't expect things to remain the same with us always. Man always thinks of being a millionaire, but this is not possible always. Nobody can live here permanently because he is made up of parts. Isn't it? You may live for 100 years or 1,000 years. Some people say that they lived for thousands of years, but no one of them is here now. Every person has to go out of existence. Every object that comes into existence has to go out of existence. This is the rule of the nature. First rule is the thing that is made of parts has to go. Has to go. And second, which comes into existence has to go out of existence. These are the two rules, laws that are governing the whole world. If a thing has a beginning, then it must have an end. If a thing is made of parts, then it has to get disintegrated. Means it disappears. This is the nature of the world. Man, if you want to live joyfully in this world, then accept this truth. This is the truth. Don't dream of remaining the same for all the time to come. That is impossible. That is impossible. If it is not in the past, it will not be in the future. It may be there before us in the present time, but for that reason the object can't be expected of living forever, existing forever. Know this, man. Know this nature of the things, of your body, of your mind, of your thoughts. Then you can enjoy the life peacefully. But what we do is, whatever we have must be with us. That is not possible. Now, today, you may be having X and Y, these two thoughts. Tomorrow, X changes, Y changes. You can't retain those two thoughts all the time. They go on changing slowly, slowly, slowly. And that is the life. That is the nature of the things. Every object that you see today cannot retain its form tomorrow the same. That is impossible. Impossible. Today you are a lover of the East. Tomorrow you may be the lover of the West. Very difficult to say. Very difficult to retain our thoughts and feelings and emotions the same all the time. That is impossible. That is impossible. If you are happy today, you cannot expect to be happy tomorrow. You may be happy today. After some time you may not be happy because everything is changing. What is the nature of the world? Jam gacchati iti jagat. Isn't it? Very beautiful definition it is. What is Jagat? That which changes is Jagat. We are parts of the Jagat, therefore we can't remain unchanged even for 2 seconds. That we have to accept if we have to live here joyfully in this world. Joyfully in this world. The person who has become a saint or a great thinker or a great seer, what is expected of him? You can't say that he doesn't change, but he accepts that change, we do not. That is the difference. If I am a millionaire here today, I want to be a millionaire all my life. It is difficult. Very difficult. Maybe very beautiful today. Tomorrow you may not be beautiful. Not be beautiful. That is not in the nature of the world. The whole nature is changing, therefore we can't expect ourselves to be the same all the time because we are parts of the nature. We are not different from the nature. Not different. Our thoughts change, our feelings change, our desires change. Everything changes. Everything. Today you may be the lover of this thing, tomorrow you may be the hater of it. It is very difficult to say. This is the nature of the world. Man know it. This is the great teachings of the great people of the world, great seers of the world. Man, know that you are changing physically, mentally, intellectually, and also your social relations do not remain the same. They also go on changing and changing and changing. Nothing remains the same. If you are dreaming of retaining something which you think is very precious, then you cannot become successful. It is impossible. It is impossible. Now you are 20 years old. You don't want to change. Means you want to be always 20 years old. It is not possible. Whether you wish it or not, it goes on changing. Isn't it? It goes on changing. Very wonderful world it is. And in this world, how we have to live? How we have to live? He says, we have to live joyfully. When we become successful in living joyfully, when we accept the reality, whatever is real in this world, we have to accept. This is the reality of the world. What is the reality? Nothing remains the same even for 2 moments. And whatever comes into this world does and definitely go out of this world. Out of this world. This nature of the world we have to accept. Then only we can live here joyfully. Isn't it? Rama was there. Sita was there. They never thought of going into the forest. They never. When they were married, they thought of living together all the time. and leading a very joyful, happy, heavenly life. But they did not succeed. They did not succeed. Rama himself failed in his life. Then what about us? Just to see. When he was to become the king of the country, he had to leave the country, go into the forest. Isn't it? We have to read Ramayana. Why? To know the nature of the world, nature of the life. We have to know the nature of the life. What is the nature of the life? Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Yesterday or in the morning, there was a raining here. But now there is no rain. No rain. It was clouded. The sky was clouded. Now it is very clear. What does it show? Everything changes. Everything, whether it is a small object or a big object, it goes on changing. Therefore, man, love the change, don't hate it. If there is a change, love it because it is there. Today is a Sunday. Love it, man. Love it. Tomorrow, there will be no Sunday. There will be Monday. Love it. You can't say that I am the lover of Sunday only. That doesn't happen. Today you love it. Tomorrow, Monday. Day after tomorrow, some other day. Man, whatever comes your way, you have to accept it and live accordingly. That is the way of living. But so many times we think that we should not change our thinking. We should not. But that doesn't happen. We cannot realize it. Very impossible. Without a changing, we can't live in the world. Whether we wish or not, we go on changing. Isn't it? This is the way we have to live here in this world. And there is one more thing in this world. That is something that does not change because it is not made up of parts. This object is made up of parts, therefore it is destroyable. Suppose there is something which is not made up of parts, then how can you destroy it? Destruction means separation of the parts of which the object is made. If it is not made up of parts, then you cannot separate the parts and the object is not affected. Separation and unison, coming together and getting away from one another. That is in the nature of the world. But what about that which is not made up of parts? Not made up of parts. Not made up of parts. Take an example. All these things are made of parts. What about the space? Is it made up of parts? No. Space is not made of different parts. Objects are made up of parts. Space cannot be separated, divided. Therefore, there are two things here. Objects are there, made up of parts, and whatever is made up of parts, what happens? It becomes destroyed. In the sense, the parts are taken away and the object simply disappears. And in the body, in the mind, in the intelligence, everything is made up of parts. Say, we think that I am an intelligent, I am a very intelligent. We think so. Because I have read so many books, so many hundreds and thousands of them, and every book is retained in my memory. I think that I am highly learned, isn't it? Highly learned. But just a man, just know that a few years before you were not learned. You have not read even a small book. When you were 5 years old, for example, now everything has come into your memory, and whatever comes into your memory, it can't be retained there for all the time. For all the time. A day comes when the things begin to go out of the memory. A day comes when everything becomes blank. Nothing remains. Know this nature, live in this world. This is the teaching of the great saints of the world. Know this nature, live in the world. Very beautiful. But don't expect that whatever you have now will ever be there with you. Without expecting this thing, if you try to live in this world, you will be the joyous person in the world. Joyous. Very happy person. Very happy. Therefore, know that there are two things in this world. That which changes and that which does not change. Does not change. How is that which doesn't change? You cannot describe it, because if you describe, then what does it mean? The description refers to its parts. Then the object becomes made of parts. You cannot describe the space. Space is a space. Isn't it? Space is space. If you say the space is made of this, made of that, then the space is not space. Similarly, you are space as well as the material formation. This is the visible of you, visible part of you. And inside there is the invisible part of you. That invisible is indivisible. This visible part is divisible, and that which is invisible inside you, that is indivisible. Means there are two things in this world, divisible and indivisible. Divisible and indivisible. The indivisible is always there, it is not affected. Means no change happens in the indivisible. In the divisible, changes happen. These two parts are there in us. One is space, which is indivisible. Other is the appearance, grass. Body is there. It is divisible. Therefore, man, you have to live with the divisible, but always being conscious of the indivisible. That is how we have to live in this world. Know that your body changes, your thoughts changes, therefore don't get attached to them. And also know that there is something which is not divisible and it is another part of you. That is always with you, this is not always with you. Therefore think that that is your real nature. And the persons who knew this thing, they are called great seers. They are very joyful people. They never worry about anything. Body changes, let this change because it is to change. No amount of effort can make it unchanged. That is not possible. Therefore, accept these two things. Externally, you are changing, and internally, you are not changing. The real you does not change. The apparent you does change. Know it? The apparent you, this is the apparent you. And the real you is there inside you. This changes and the real you does not change. Does not change. But we are more interested in the apparent you. We are very much interested in the body, in our thoughts, in our feelings. Much interested. Very much. Therefore we dream of becoming free. Dream of becoming very happy always. These are just dreams related to the apparent body, but not related to the real you. Therefore, such dreams can't be realized perfectly. Wonderful, isn't it? If the sun rises, it has to go. If the moon waxes, then it has to wane. Isn't it? This is the nature of the world. Man, look around you. What is happening, look around you. And live here as joyfully as this tree. The tree is very happy. Whether you sit here, whether great people sit here, or small people sit here, whether you sleep here, or you quarrel here under the tree is not at all affected. Therefore it is tree, wonderful tree. Isn't it? How happy it is. How happy. How happy, wonderful. And it had not gone to colleges to learn the way of living in the world. The tree is there, it knows how to live in the world. Just creating what? Leaves, creating flowers, creating fruits, and enjoying. Leaves are not permanent, tree parts are not permanent, fruits are not permanent, nothing is permanent, but the tree is very happy, very happy. In the same way, we have to live in this world very joyfully, whether our pockets are full or half empty. We must live joyfully, very joyfully. Wonderful, isn't it? This is the way we have to live in the world, learning the lessons from, getting lessons from the nature. Very wonderful nature. Look at the tree. How calm, quiet, isn't it? You may worship it or you may not worship it. You may admire it or you may blame it. Your words do not bring any effect upon the tree. Does not bring any changes in the nature of the tree. The tree is calm, quiet. You may praise it or blame it or throw stones or just put water. No. It does not expect anything from all the people that are sitting here. It doesn't expect. Therefore the tree is so calm, quiet, very happy. This calmness itself is happiness. We have to live here in this world like the tree, calm and quiet. Wonderful, isn't it? There is a sun, very hot sun, but here there is cold shadow, isn't it? Cold shade, very beautiful shade here it is. Wonderful. This is the way we have to live in the world. And we have to take lesson from the tree. This tree gives us the message that you people live like me, then you can enjoy the life. Enjoy the not become much affected by the events that are happening in the world. Not much affected, isn't it? Love the nature, love whatever is there in the nature, love yourself, love the whole world, but always don't get what? Attached to them. Love the tree, but don't want to make the tree your property. Let it be there. Let us love it. The tree never thinks, who is the master, who is not my master. It never think about it. Therefore it is so joyful, so shadowy, so beautiful, isn't it? This is how we have to live in the world. Now it is nearing one. 10 minutes are there still. But I close my speech here. And if you have any questions, ask them. But don't expect the proper answers. You are free to question, but don't expect that I am going to satisfy you. Ask any question.